Okay, supposedly we are live. So here we are. Ask Me Anything for November 13th, 2025. As always, got the questions called up from the Facebook group as well as the Linchpin squad in the BTWB app. Got some shout outs. Got Emily here with me, and we're just going to have a blast. So let's see. Let's start with the shout out. Shout out number one. This is from Monday's workout where we did the Codeman 869. Hi, everyone. Hello, right back at you. I don't know. You get like a little purple crown icon next to your YouTube thing with the number one. Maybe that means you got a lot of clout there and you a lot of crowns. Yeah, Melanie, hello. So Monday, we did the EMOM 30 minutes of one hang power snatch. And this is from Blair B, who posted he held 165 pounds for the overwhelming majority of the reps. And that scored a level 95 in BTWB. Like that's
awesome.
That's crazy. And for anyone, not to get on a tangent already, the levels on BTWB, I think it goes from 1 to 99. I don't think there's a level 100. And so point being, level 95 is crazy. Because you're not just level 95 against like, I don't know, you cordoned off your local Walmart and the 500 people that were in there, you're like, we're all going to do a hang power snatch EMOM. And like, the regular population, this is people on BTWB are into fitness. Like you are dealing with a unique population. So if even in that group of wonderful fitness psychos, you scored a level 95 in that peer group, that's pretty cool. I did not score a level 95. Okay. Although I did hang power snatch with a barbell for the first time in quite a while. This one is from Buck, who we all know is a wonderful human and obnoxiously strong. So this is from when we did the front squat, 5 sets of 5. And why not? He went ahead and set a new 5-rep max of 345 pounds for 5 continuous repetitions as a human being north of 40 years old.
Crazy.
That is ridiculous. He said he's working towards achieving his goal of a 405-pound front squat. That's a great deadlift for a lot of people. And he's looking to have that one day as the front squat. Okay, final shout out. Okay, this is obnoxious. This is our favorite Frenchman, Ben G, over in France. The other day when we did the 45-minute on the air bike, he went ahead and took a snapshot of the monitor of his Rogue Echo bike. In a 45-minute window, he accumulated 829 calories. Let's go ahead and do the math for the kids at home to what that comes out per minute. That means for 45 continuous minutes, on average, he held 18.4 calories every single minute for 45 minutes. I am not afraid to throw myself under the bus on that. 18 minutes, 18 calories per minute.
I don't even know that I could do that for 1 minute.
I don't think I could do that for 4 minutes. I don't think that I could. He did it for 45 minutes.
So impressive.
It's ridiculous. So, all right. So we'll get into the stuff. And to start off with a funny story that my wife doesn't know we're going to start off with about how
I'm very nervous.
About how we, have fun here. We don't take ourselves too seriously. And, we're just working out. We're not competing at the games. We're not trying to, we're just working out. So yesterday was the 10K run. And so I finished the 10K run. It was brutal. Got it done. Had on a podcast. I'm in the garage. I'm stretching. Emily comes out. She's like, "You done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done." Just whatever I said. Something like, nasty 10K or something. She's like, "It's a 5K." And I was like, "No, it's a 10K." And she goes, "No, it's a 5K." I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a 10K. I just did it. So she checks and she goes, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do a 5K. Not doing that nonsense." And she went out and did a 5K. Now,
it's good enough.
I was gonna say,
I was happy.
Yes. Hopefully this is just a and I do plenty of stuff like that all the time. People, we're just working out. Like, okay, you get out, you ran for 30 minutes, you ran for 20 minutes, you did for 45, you did whatever you did. You chose, like, you went out there and you did something. You had the time, you didn't have the time, or you had all day in your head you were ready mentally. This is a 5K. I can do it. I'm psyched up. I know what I got to do. And then somebody says, oh, it's double. And you go, no, it's not. It's all good. You know, we're still getting fit. Okay. Let's get into the questions. Emily has not seen them at all, which is how we like to do business. Okay. First one. Let me see here. Let me make this a little larger so my eyes can see the text. Okay. From Corey C. You frequently tell us to scale or modify movements that don't treat us well, and I completely agree. But what if the movement doesn't have the negative effect until the following day? Is that something that should be avoided? Let's just take kipping pull-ups. I can do them. They don't give me any pain while doing them, but they sure get increasingly more difficult as the workout proceeds when fatigue sets in if there are a lot in one workout. The next day, my shoulders sometimes feel pretty darn spicy. Sometimes a good sore, and sometimes a maybe, that was a bit too much kind of sore. How do I go about navigating a movement that might not cause pain while performing it if the adrenaline's high, but could have some not fun effects the following days? Anything pop in your head? I got some
I feel
ideas.
this way about back squatting. Every time I squat, I know it won't be then, but the next day. And I have to make a decision about, is it worth it or not? And I think, like, is it pain or is it like discomfort,
Yes,
soreness?
there
I
we
think
go.
if it's pain, that's a no-go.
Mhm.
You know, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something, especially if it's causing you pain the next day. I think that's different than,
I think that's bullseye right there, because some of the stuff you said, Corey, for most of the time it's true. It's like DOMS is a real thing, like the delayed onset muscle soreness, where most of the time you're like, hey, it's not that same day, I feel it the next day. That's not a blip on the radar. That doesn't make me raise an eyebrow. That's nothing. It's what Emily just said, which is that thing you feel the next day. Is it muscle soreness? Because, you know, when you lift or whatever, you get all these little micro tears in the heel, you get stronger. Like, is it that or is it pain? Pain, not good. And the other thing that you said, which is also normal, which is, let's see, you're doing something like a pull-up, they get more increasingly difficult as the workout gets on and you fatigue. Of course, yeah, yes, so that's normal as well. It just, in my mind, comes down to the, what are you feeling the next day? And you use the classic CrossFit wording that we all do, such as, might feel a little spicy the next day, or my knees are quote unquote unhappy with me. Like, you know, we all say these terms, but most of us know our body pretty well. And you know, is it discomfort? Is it pain? If it's pain, you've got some options. You may not need to fully avoid whatever it is. You just might need to learn what your tolerance is. Maybe if the workout has, let's take a crazy workout like the workout Angie starts with 100 pull-ups and you're going to be dosed up. But if you do 75, you're fine. Or you do 50, you're fine. Like, there might be some level of tolerance that your body has that when you go beyond that, it's no good. And so you might have to do a bit of experimenting and find where that sweet spot is. Or you might have to totally cut it out if, regardless of the volume, it changes things.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And the other thing that you said also was it does not occur after strict pull-ups. So it's just the kipping component that seems to get you if we stick with the pull-up deal. Now that's interesting. I mean, when I think about kipping versus strict, you've got a larger range of motion, unless you have frozen shoulders like me. But if you don't, you've got a bigger range of motion, which you're not probably getting in the strict component. The kipping probably allows you to keep going, where had you been doing strict, you would have need to take a break and therefore lower the intensity, so to speak. The kipping also is probably going to allow you to do more reps in a shorter period of time, which is more intensity. So you're getting a bigger range of motion and more intensity, and this only seems to happen when you're kipping. So my gut feeling says, try scaling down the volume, see how does that feel the next day. Pay attention, is it pain or discomfort? And then if you can't find a sweet spot, but you know strict treats you well, yeah, your time's going to be slower. Who cares? Like, we just made fun of the whole 10K, 5K thing. You're just working out. Let's say that you can never kip again for the rest of your life, but you can do strict pull-ups forever and ever. You will be a beast.
Or maybe even like elevated ring rows in a situation like that, because then you might be able to keep going for a longer period of time, but still get that pulling.
Some Aussie pull-ups. You could have a band if you wanted to keep going, so like your strict pull-ups hit failure, you slip into a little band, you can keep going. So I think you've got some experimentation to do there. Let's see. I have no range of motion in my shoulder, so I feel fine. Let's see. Next one here. This is from The Cheap CrossFitter. I love the handle. How are the super fitness robot times determined? Not sure if this is standard or supposed to be achievable by a fit person stepping on the gas, or only achievable by the T1000 robot in the Terminator series, such as our friend in France. Question number 2, is there anywhere I can find a full log of all the AMA questions you have answered? Well, I can answer the second one quickly. There is no just running list of all the questions. I don't know if AI could search it on YouTube or whatnot, but the questions are always listed in the show notes under each YouTube show. So maybe that's possible, but I'm not quite sure. But how are the super fitness robot times? So we've got goal times at Linchpin. We have the super fitness robot time, and then what's called the more likely time. And the short answer is those have been polished and polished and polished over many years and hundreds of workouts of just tracking, logging, and timing X number of repetitions of every conceivable movement that you could think of. How long does 10 reps of this take, or this many reps of this? And then is that particular movement paired with something which has a high or low degree of interference? Is it paired with a monostructural component? Like, all those things make sense. And then there's like a multiple. After we crunch those numbers, there's a multiple that we apply to get to like the range of like, this would be a profoundly fast time, humanly possible, but like really fast time in this workout. And this is where we think most people are going to land. And I think I say this in the Welcome to Linchpin video, which I post every Monday in the BTWB app, which is like, those times are not rigid and unwavering. Like, there's some flexibility there. The super fitness robot time on some workout might be 7 minutes or less. You might come in at like 4:59. You're like, did I do the workout wrong? No, you just smashed it, and it's okay to smash it. Conversely, the more likely time might be 15 minutes on a workout. You come in at 21 minutes, and then you feel all defeated, and you're like, oh, I did so bad on that workout. I missed the goal time by so much. I should have modified something. Maybe, but actually maybe not. I don't want to derail us here, but I'm going to derail us a little bit, because let's say that, I don't know, it's Helen. It's 3 rounds for time, 400-meter run, 21 kettlebell swings, 12 pull-ups. And you're a pretty darn good runner. And you can swing the kettlebell, but man, you struggle with pull-ups. You're just not there yet. And so you did the 3 sets of 12. Each time you had to do in just 2s. 2, 2, 2, 2, 6 sets of 2. And since pull-ups are so tough for you, you had to take like 30 seconds rest between every one of those sets of 2s. That's probably going to put you outside the more likely time. But what seems to be holding you back as an athlete? Your pull-up capacity. Well, what did you allow yourself to do in that particular day? Get better at pull-ups. Spend some time on the pull-ups. So that's going to be okay, even though it puts you outside the quote-unquote goal times, which is why I like goal times, and I also kind of hate them, like both at the same time, because they can get inside people's heads. And sticking with that example, let's say maybe you're not going to be shortchanged on Helen. I'll tell you how you're not shortchanged on Helen. Okay, I had to take 30 seconds between every double on the pull-ups. Well, yeah, you might be shortchanged in Helen if now you just casually jog that 400. But if you, since you get extra rest time, quote unquote, on the pull-ups, if you burned it down on the 400, like ran a 75-second 400 or whatever is like your top end, came in hyperventilating to the swings, and then took your time on the pull-ups, you're almost making Helen into this like interval. You're not going to be shortchanged. You're going to be fine. Any random goal time thoughts or anything?
No, you covered it. I don't typically even look at the goal. Well, I just don't look at them because I work out based on how I feel for that day. And I don't, sometimes it messes with me mentally if I look at the goal times and then I feel like I have to do certain things and I just don't like to work out like that anymore.
So you don't really look at the goal times. Do you check, I think I've asked you this before, do you check your previous time if you know you've done the workout before?
No, I don't look at anything before I do it.
Nothing before?
No, because I don't like to, again,
Good for you.
I like to stay in a different headspace than I once was. So that's what works for me. But then sometimes I'll be like, oh, I did so great. And I'll log my score and I'm like, I did so horrible compared to so many other people. So, but then I'm like, yeah.
But that's it. Felt great and then said I did so horrible compared to other people. Like that's getting back to like what I say all the time, which is fitness is easy. People are hard. Like, it's not getting in your own head, realizing the comparison is a thief of joy and walking that fine line where know yourself. Does looking at some other times that are maybe like a lot faster than you or loads that are bigger than yours, does that motivate you or does that defeat you? No two people are the same. Like learn what works for you and then monitor what you allow in your head so that you can continue to walk into the gym, have a good experience, make good decisions for where you are. And if that's, motivation from a leaderboard, great. And if it's not, cool. Let's see. Next one is, let's see here. From Jacqueline. How important is it to do cleans or snatches? How does it translate to functional fitness? I developed tennis elbow when doing them in the past, and so I stay pretty light. I feel like those are my weakest lifts, and I just never seem to get better and scale the front squats or something else so that I can lift heavier. Is that something I should work on because it's an important skill, or just focus on the other lifts to keep from injuring myself? Okay. Cleans and snatches, are they necessary?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I think here's the short answer. Could you never clean or snatch for the rest of your life and be ferociously fit, fast, and strong? Yes. Yes. You run, you jump, you squat, you deadlift, you kettlebell swing, you sprint, you do pull-up, like you eat well, you do wall balls. You're going to be a beast in the most wonderful use of that word possible. You're going to be a beast. Now there's the other side of like optimizing your fitness. Okay. Like, will you be peaking out, optimizing your fitness? No, probably not. Will you notice that, I think, on planet Earth living a regular life? No, I don't think that you will. If you walk into a competition floor, it will be suddenly obvious that you've been neglecting the Olympic lifts. If you're doing anything on planet Earth, yard work, shoveling snow, running around with your kids, pushing a car out of a ditch, going for a hike, you will never notice what is or isn't going on with the clean and jerk or the snatch. So they do have utility, but you're right. You don't see somebody snatching something in the real world. Like it doesn't really happen. Throwing it into the air, pushing themselves under it, receiving it in a full squat with their arms extended overhead. She's a former gymnast. I don't see anyone walking on their hands in the real world. Ever. I don't see anybody doing backflips off a balance beam in the real world. Ever. Like, I don't see it. Does all that incredibly, so we just talked barbell, is what you just said is the highest skill thing that you can do with the barbell, the Olympic lifts. Now, gymnastics is probably like some of the highest skill stuff that you can do with your body, but you don't find it on planet Earth. Does that mean it doesn't have tremendous athletic utility and just make you probably even have excess capacity for what you're going to do in the real world? I would make the argument that it's better to have a gymnast level of coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance, because then doing regular life tasks, you can turn the volume down because you're operating at a fraction of your capacity. And with regards to the Olympic lifts, while you may not find their exact analog in nature, what they do really, really well is develop power. They move things fast, and they're explosive. And they require, with regards to a barbell, a really high degree of those central nervous system components found in gymnasts also of coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. Just way more than you're going to find in the deadlift, way more than you're going to find in the back squat. And having those characteristics are a great thing to have. Again, could you avoid them and be fit? You absolutely could. But that, I think, is why, you don't see them in nature, but they have functional transference because of just how beneficial they are in a couple areas.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I like the clean more than the snatch.
Keep talking. I've turned down the heat.
Because I do think that that's something that you could potentially use in the real world. Sometimes, I don't know. we live out in the wilderness. So when trees fall, I feel like I have cleaned logs before, trying to get under them. So that sort of thing, learning how to get under the barbell and that pulling off the floor, I do think has more value to me than snatching. I have trained some older clients out of our garage in the past couple of years, and I never snatch with them. Never, ever. It's just the risk is too high for the reward that they might get for it. And even with the boys, when they train, they're never going to be Olympic lifters. So I have them clean because I think, especially for power and, especially for Deacon playing football, I think that's an important lift for them, but I don't ever have them snatch either.
And you can reduce it down in its technical complexity as you get into a different part of your fitness journey in your life, where maybe there's a day that comes that you don't snatch, right? If we're sticking with like the clean and jerk thing, like, hey, like our son's in the garage, our son's not doing full squat cleans. It's not there yet. Okay. Maybe even the power clean is challenging. Well, now you can reduce the more to the hang power clean. Now you're still cleaning, you're getting explosive hip opening. It's a high power movement, but I've reduced its technical complexity several steps away from that full clean. There's a full squat snatch. There's a power snatch. There's a hang power. Like there's these things, and like, you can play with those things, and you can also play with the loading. But to get back to your other question, Jacqueline, hopefully we've answered it a bit there. If you still, I would want to try to find out, why are you getting tennis elbow? So see if you can identify that.
It's such a terrible injury
Awful.
too, or I don't know if
Lasts
it's an
forever.
Injury. It lasts forever, and it comes on seemingly out of nowhere.
Like a thief in the night.
It's like, it'll go away, it'll go away, it'll go away. Months later, you're still dealing with it.
Months. But on a day like, let's say you haven't yet given up on the Olympic lifts in your life, you could do exactly what you're saying, which is fine. Heavy loads frustrate you and don't treat you well. Use a light or a moderate load. You're still going to be challenging your central nervous system, that's for darn sure. But the load, in your own words, is at a point where it's not appreciable enough for you to consider it a heavy day. Okay, maybe you're going to do 15, 20 minutes of technique work on the snatch at whatever loading is okay for you. And then you're going to choose like the wild card of the scaled option that day, which probably has a different way to lift heavy, whether it's front squat, back squat, or something like that, and have your heavy session there. Technique work, get it heavy, because I agree with you. If it's so light that you walk away from the day where you're like, I didn't lift anything even remotely heavy, you don't want to miss that heavy stimulus. So I think you're on the right track there. Miranda G. How do you navigate barbell movements that are limited by not having a rack? Specifically, my overhead squat is limited by my power snatch weight, and my front squat is limited by my power clean weight. I don't get to test my back squat or bench press, unfortunately. Am I shortchanging myself, or should I just suck it up and get a rack? Have you lived this life, the no rack life?
I think so. Yeah, I did, didn't I?
I think so.
I don't remember what I did during that period of time.
Depending upon what you're comfortable with, let's say it's the overhead squat. I'm personally not a fan of this, but we're just going to talk about what a lot of people do. You will see people, because you said your overhead squat's limited by your power snatch. There will be people that do a power clean, get in the front rack. They didn't do a bit of like a dip drive, like they're going to do a push press. They kind of pop it up over the head, back rack it. Once they get in the back rack, they slide their hands out to what the overhead squat is, do a jerk from behind the neck, and then they overhead squat. There's a lot going on there. You have to be comfortable putting weight up over your head, back on your. I don't do it. I don't think the risk is worth the reward. But just so there are people out there that do other techniques.
You could clean and jerk just from the front, and then if you're comfortable, shimmy your hands out. I did that for a very long time.
It's a circus
I
trick.
was not comfortable bringing the weight down on my neck. And I do remember. You're right. I did not have a rack because that's what I was doing.
Yep. And it happens all the time. And you're right. You're probably not back squatting, so you're going to get really good at the front squat. And your front squat could be limited by your power clean. Or if you're comfortable with the Olympic lifts, you should be able to full clean more than you could power clean. So you could receive the barbell and squat clean, stand it up, and then do your set of 5 or whatever it is. But if all you can do is pull it from the ground, you might wind up having to play with rep ranges on days like that, because maybe it was that 5x5 front squat day. You most certainly would front squat a lot more if you had a rack to do the 5x5 or the barbells on the ground. you might be doing 8s on that day because maybe based upon the weight, 5s is too easy for you because you had to pull it from the ground. And so you might play with the rep range a little bit on something like that. But to answer your question as well, if you have the funds and if you have the space, a squat rack is an excellent investment that you will get a lot of mileage out of. And it would be, there are some things people want to buy with their money that I'm like, hey, you can buy it if you want, but it'd be like really, really low on my list. The squat rack would be pretty high on the list. So that'd be a good one. And you can get squat stands too if you don't have the room, like, just two sturdy stands that you can kind of put them together, put them in a corner. It doesn't have to be like a cage kind of a thing. So there's a lot of options out there.
I thought that's something you could probably find at like Goodwill
Facebook
or Play It Against
Marketplace.
Sports.
Yeah,
I feel
Facebook
like there's people
Marketplace
that
or
are like, I'm
something.
going to lift, and then they're like, I'm not going to lift.
Yeah, January, New Year's is coming up. There's going to be a lot of people that buy a lot of gear, and then around like March 1st, you're going to see it on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, from KG. Last week, you programmed American Kettlebell Swings. I think that was the swing hollow rock box jump 3-rounder we did, as opposed to Russian swings, which I'm sure is the norm in Linchpin. I can't recall you ever doing this before and wonder why you did it this time. Thanks, coach. Sorry for any confusion. One's not necessarily the norm. As a matter of fact, I would say that the default swing, generally speaking, like if something just says kettlebell swings in a workout, that means American swings going overhead. And I looked back. We have kettlebell swings coming up because I'm programming for the future here. So if we look at the next one that's going to be programmed, and I looked at the last 5 that we did, so that's 6 total. Again, the 5 in recent past and the one that's coming up. 3 of them, the one that's coming up is going to be American as well. 3 were American and 3 were Russian. So it's actually like 50-50. But whenever it's going to be a Russian swing, you'll see that in the title. Like I will say Russian kettlebell swings, because if it just says kettlebell swings, the default is actually the American swing going all the way overhead. So hopefully that helps. Okay, final question. And this just has to be anecdotal. What other disclaimers are that we say here? Not medical advice, not whatever. This is our personal opinion. From Tyler W. Hey, Pat, I'm fairly new to Linchpin, so maybe this topic has been covered in the past. Chiropractors are a polarizing topic, many believing it can not only heal back pain, but chronic sinus issues, headaches, intestinal/gut issues, take menopause away from women. I'm kidding. I made that up myself. Among a list of other internal aches and ailments. Others believe it is a useless substitute for physical therapy and believe the practice to be complete feces out of the anus of a bull. Well, I was going to say that. Okay. Have you had any positive/negative experiences with chiropractors? What's your view on them? Is it a useful practice for body maintenance and correction, or is it simply a pseudoscience that's a poor substitute for physical therapy? For reference, I have no skin in the game. I've been to a chiropractor a handful of times in my life with mixed results. I'm not an advocate for either side of the argument, just curious. Thoughts on chiropractors?
I think this is one of those things where you have to try it yourself, do it yourself, and see if it works for you. I think you will find both sides of the spectrum, people who've had wonderful results and people who have seen it do nothing. I feel that way about supplements. There's supplements people take that they're like, this did X, Y, and Z for me. I've taken those supplements. I'm like, that did nothing for me. So I think it's one of those personal preference things. I have been to a chiropractor before, especially when I've like strained my low back. I had positive results, but I don't go like on a regular basis for like all of those other things. I went a decent amount in college because like the school of chiropractic had to get so many hours, so they would come work on the athletes. Yeah. So like free chiropractic care, great. I don't know if it did anything extravagant. I don't know.
Totally anecdotal, based on nothing. I barely graduated college with a worthless degree in sociology. So here I am talking about chiropractic care. I've done a lot of dumb things to my body that usually involved a lot of velocity and motorcycles, and then going from a high speed to 0 quickly. And so when I found myself on a chiropractor's table, it's usually been for something that was acute. and I cannot turn my head at all. I
Mhm.
cannot get up. My back is locked up. And again, I don't like Emily, I don't go that frequently, but the times that I've had something acute happen that seemed to be spinal, if you will, I'm gonna do a Mike Tyson quote here. Seem to be spinal. Like I walk away from the session not fully healed, but usually better than I walked in. Take that for what it's worth. So my personal experience says there's probably something there with an acute injury to the spine, that something is, for lack of a better way to say it, out of place and needs to get put back in, and that's the issue. Outside of that scope, just my 2 cents. Then I think there's a steep drop off in the benefit. I think you get in diminishing returns quickly. I think that probably beyond that, there are probably just a lot of things that are better handled, maybe in the physical therapy realm than continually laying on the chiropractor's table. Again, just my 2 cents. And based on nothing, I don't believe for a moment any of the other things that you said of like it healed my gut issues. Maybe it did, but I doubt it. That would be I'd be very, very skeptical of somebody that said they had whatever gut issue going on. And I
will say my one regret with Lane when she was colicky, we had tried so many things. By the time somebody suggested going to a chiropractor, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that because nothing else worked. But I've heard so many people have success stories for colicky babies going to the chiropractor. That's one thing I'm like, I wish we would have tried it.
Maybe. I guess I don't know what they do now in hindsight too. Like the neck, that makes me really nervous. Like I just feel like, do you really know what you're doing there? Do you know exactly when to stop? Like, do they do that to the little kids?
I think so.
Oh, I couldn't do that. That was. I mean, colic was pretty bad, so maybe I would have tried it. But that would make me really, really nervous. Have you seen on Instagram? There was like I don't know why it was in my feed. It hasn't been in a while, but there was somebody who was like a dog chiropractor.
No. You can take your dog to a chiropractor?
Well, he's in people's homes. This is like dog, and you like crack their back or crack their head.
That's awesome.
And the dog would be like, oh, I'm so happy afterwards. So I don't know. Take that.
Well, maybe. I think you have to try it. I don't know.
Yeah. The neck stuff makes me nervous, but I also have such a bad neck that, like, I don't know, somebody wrenching on my neck makes me really, really nervous. But yeah.
I'm open-minded to it.
That's it. And just so everyone knows, full disclosure, because we're all friends here, Thursday, as usually, is my cheat day. I enjoyed my cheat day today. I went down to the grocery store and I picked myself up 2 American-sized M&M cookies. Great, probably like 400 calories a piece. And then a individual slice of carrot cake. And it was...
I didn't know you got an extra kicker.
Well, I usually do one of 2 things. I usually do because we're our grocery store, it sells the M&M cookies and a variety of cookies from their bakery, whatever, in like a 2-pack. So I'll either get 2 2-packs, so 4 cookies, and that will be my cheat for Thursday, or I'll get 1 pack of cookies and allow myself a secondary item. And so, yeah, I did the secondary item, and that was it. So that's it, everybody. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for being cool. Tomorrow we got a fun one, heavy day at a high heart rate with squat cleans and some jump rope work. So enjoy that. And yeah, enjoy your rest day. And I will see everybody online. Let's see. I'm just going to figure out what to hit here. And we are out of here.